Peace and blessings. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. For all my Muslim brothers and sisters out there, then you are aware that I just gave a greeting asking for God's peace, blessings, and His mercies to be placed upon your life. If you are not Muslim and you're not familiar with that greeting, then I just explained it, and I wish the same for you as well. I made a video trying to pretty much say everything that I'm about to say in this video, but that video ended up being like an hour long. I don't know that people have a whole hour of their life to be checking in with me and seeing what I'm posting. I don't want to think that I'm whatever. I know that people have other things that they need to do with their time and with their self and their lives. So I decided, like, ooh, girl, child, maybe we need to make that same video but try to make it shorter so that we can basically put out the same message without taking up as much time. So long story short, the purpose of this video is for accountability and an open apology. Many of you have been so supportive of me in my many endeavors. And my most recent one, I'm still getting notifications, so I want to say thank you all for your support. I've recently launched a project called Piece of Cake Conversations. How that whole thing came about, last year after I was out of work due to life, Rona and other things. I really struggled. My self-worth took a hit because I didn't realize that I was a busybody, that I was a people pleaser, that I was a person who had codependency issues, so basically a savior's complex. But more so than anything, I had a servant's heart, and I have a love for seeing people communicate effectively, right? So being out of work, operating into some new roles, first time birth mom, okay? I have helped many people with their children, like supplemental assistant with people's children, as, you know, daycare lady, as a nanny, as a member of the community, as the Miss Cupcake in the youth center. But baby, being a mom, actual factual full-time mama, because I also have a stepson, and we don't have him 24/7 because his mom is a mom and she has him, and when we get a chance to get him, he lights up my world. But I just never was fully privy to the amount of work that women put in as moms. So last year, after I had to resign, I felt a myriad of emotions that I wasn't even fully aware that I was feeling, that sometimes I was working so hard to suppress by being positive, because I felt like this is a little funk. I'm used to me going through little funks. I'm starting to get better. Alhamdulillah for Islam. I have suffered with insomnia, anxiety, just general depression. It's hard not to be depressed in the West because we just got a lot of issues here. And as beautiful as it is to seem like, you know, we're stable, I am a over analytical person. So sometimes, like, I have moments where, like, I have Western guilt and I start to think about the plight of other people, other places, and I just start to think about how we got into the position that we got into, and like we've benefiting from certain things and blah 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 blah. Long story short, I was going through some depression. I wasn't fully aware of it. I kind of knew, but I didn't fully understand. And I definitely think, in addition to COVID, depression, and me being out of work, and my self-worth taking a hit, because for so long I had made my self-worth synonymous with the work that I was doing. So being out of work meant, like, now I'm unsure as to who I am and what value I have. That's a different video for another day, because we definitely need to talk about that. But I will say this: I had a lot more time on my hand, and the more time I had on my hand, the more I was able to reconnect with friends and actually be there for them and listen to them and have conversations. And so I had friends telling me or asking me and suggesting that I should, maybe get into counseling, as in me be the counselor. And here it is, I'm inside thinking like, no, I ain't trying to counsel nobody, because I need to be on somebody's chair right now, because I was starting to become aware. The more time I had away from work, I was really starting to have a chance to be like really more so present with myself. And I was coming to understand some things that had been bothering me almost all my life, and ways that I had hurt myself and contributed to, my trauma even further in my adulthood. And I was just like, yo, okay, nah. But I'll be here and I'll listen to you as a friend though. And then I would have conversations with my niece about certain things, and just me reflecting and thinking about certain topics that I had the privilege of speaking with the youth with when I was the manager of the youth center, Dillon County Boys and Girls Youth Center. Shout out to them. And they are starting up their youth program again, so you guys take advantage of that. Mr. Aaron also has the Village after school program. Y'all take advantage of them. There's quite a few good, like, amazing mentoring programs, Save Our Youth mentoring programs. Like, there's a lot of different Beyond Beauty with my cousin, Lord, I almost called her Crystal. My mind is slipping, but the love is still there. Mom brain is real, y'all. Mom brain is real. But I say all of that and I digress because I'm starting to get on a tangent. I was suffering, and I feel like I'm just now coming out of that. So long story short, I was trying to figure out, like, how do I still add value to the world while I'm at this point where it's like I have so much in me. I need to give. I'm used to being a giver, right? At the same time, I need to just give to myself. So that's a whole nother subject too. But I knew I needed to make a contribution, and I kept praying and asking God for guidance, and He gave me Piece of Cake Conversations, which is a project that I need to keep moving forward with, but I have hit a little bit of a wall, and that's why I'm here. Accountability and an open apology. So I started that project, made a couple of videos, and then I was triggered. I started second guessing myself. I didn't realize how insecure I am when it comes to my ability to be consistent. First of all, a lot of people don't know that I am not a college graduate. I am a college dropout. I'm not saying this so that anybody can start feeling sympathy towards me. I'm not saying this so that anybody can start commenting, oh, you're so smart, you should go back to school, this. I am completely okay with the decision that I made to no longer pursue my career in education at the time that I did. If I decide to go back to school at a later date, I will be okay with that. But right now, I'm okay with the path of not having completed school, because I didn't want to continue student loan debt. I don't agree with the school system in the state that it is. I kind of highly encourage people, if you can, to homeschool your kids. And even if your kids are in public school, you need to realize that the public school system should not be the primary school system of your children's life. That should be secondary. Your children's education should be primarily being shaped at home, but I digress because I will get on a tangent in a minute, honey. Okay, cool. Boom. And that's why the other video was like a whole hour long. But I'm trying to hit the points, drive this point on home, and get on off y'all internet. Okay? So God gave me that vision. I started putting forth the efforts, and then I got triggered in that process, but also I had other things going on around me. And I've been searching for a therapist for like a year, like a whole year since I left my last place of employment. I started realizing that there was a lot of issues that kept coming back up, like the same scenario playing out in my life in different ways. And it absolutely has to do with me not having the skills of commitment, consistency within my commitments. and me self-sabotaging, like me just, not trying hard enough with certain situations, or trying so hard in certain situations, but not trying hard when it comes to my own. Like, I have not worked piece of cake the way that I deserve to. And there's some other things that God has given to me that I know I have to start moving forward, towards. And it's just like, oh, okay. Okay. So I say all of that to say this. I thank you all for the level of support that you have given me. For all of those who have liked the page, if you've had a chance to listen in on any of the videos for whatever amount of time, if you shared it, if you're looking forward to the next video, whatever it is, I appreciate your level of support. I also have to apologize. I apologize for me not being able to be consistent towards my efforts that some of you may benefit from, because I have not fully learned to be consistent with myself. So I have been putting forth some boundaries, and me learning myself and trying to figure out where I will establish boundaries at in my life is it's tough. It's tough because I was just so used to being a free spirit, but boundaries are good. It's boundaries are good because they help there to be a more clear understanding between the people, right? But I also realized that sometimes boundaries can be deemed offensive to certain people if they are not in a space where they want to operate within boundaries, right? So, and I'm not responsible for that. But like I said, I do owe it to myself to be more consistent first with me, so that I can show up for others, or show up in the way that I have said that I was going to show up. It is not fair to myself or others for me to be flaky just because I'm flaky with myself. Now it's, transferring into other areas and aspects of my life. So someone may have been looking forward to even supporting me, but now I haven't even given them anything to support. And then I'm out here talking crazy in my head about how people don't support me when I haven't even given them anything to support, because I started self-sabotaging. And I'm not laughing. I don't think it's funny, but it's ironic. And I have to go hard on myself sometimes, because it's just the craziness that it goes on inside of my own head. And when I start talking with other people, they're like, girl, I be doing that too. And it's just like, oh no, we got to do better. We got to stop holding people to the fire about them not showing up in our lives when we haven't even shown up in our own lives. For real. I see people getting into it or having grudges about the way that people respond to their Facebook posts. You're upset because somebody else liked the Facebook post where everybody else loved your Facebook post, and now you're trying to say that they're a hater. What? It's crazy. It's crazy the things that we do because we're so busy trying to control other people. And it's so that leads me to my second point. In addition to me being accountable and apologizing for me not, like I said, first of all, it's an apology to myself for me not believing in myself enough to go beyond the negative self-talk, the self-doubt, to go beyond, my laziness, to be organized, to be brave enough to keep moving regardless of whatever going on around me. I apologize first to me, and then I apologize to y'all, because like I said, I can't show up for anybody else if I'm not fully showing up for myself. But also, I'm trying to be accountable in that aspect. But then I also realize that, there's times where I may have been a little hypocritical or, whatever. And I'm not sure how people have experienced me, and I cannot control how people have experienced me. And I want to apologize for that as well. And undoubtedly, with this project that I'm putting forth, I'm going to be making commentary. And in real life, I've made commentary because I'm a very opinionated person. And I never try to be judgmental, but you don't have to try to be judgmental in order for you to be judgmental. I will say this: whenever I do make a judgment about a person, I am the type of person where I always leave room for there to be another impression. But most people may not know that about me. And so I apologize for the times that I've made comments, judgmental comments, that you may not even been aware that those comments, they don't stick. I give people grace enough to give another opinion, another impression, for me to form another opinion. I try to be objective about certain people or certain circumstances and things and events or whatever. So I'm going to speak about stuff in a moment, and yep, undoubtedly, my viewpoint can very well change about the very same thing that I might have been so passionate about, one time before. I might be very passionate about something one time before, and then you might catch me later on, and I'm not keeping that same energy. I might be way more mellow about that same thing because I started realizing that I have to reanalyze and reprioritize what I give my energy to, and that thing might not be at the top of my list, and it might come off that I'm being hypocritical, and I'm already apologizing to you for that, because that's something that you might experience. That might be a way that you experience me. And it is what it is. I'm not about to try to tell anybody how they've experienced me. But I will say that my intentions are different. I don't intend to be hypocritical. And if that is who I am perceived to be, or even how I actually am, I pray that God will rectify my affairs. But I do apologize for times in the past where I've made judgmental comments because I simply didn't have the lived experience to be speaking on what I spoke on. Or because I had the lived experience, but I didn't further articulate XYZ, whatever. Or you came in and heard an isolated situation, me speaking on an isolated thing or whatever it is. So I want to apologize, and I can't help how the apology will be received. I do feel confident in apologizing and thanking people for their support. And it's weird that I'm apologizing for stuff from the past that I might not like. It's so weird that I'm apologizing for something that I'm acknowledging and that I may not have been even aware of times that I've offended people, or times that I've been judgmental, or times that I've been hypocritical. But I have had people bring things up to me and say, well, you've done this, and it has hurt me in this way. And when you do XYZ, then there seems to be this, this idea from me, this person is explaining from me that, oh, I'm changing, I'm evolving. And I thought that I was a pretty, graceful person. But like I said, if I have come off as judgmental towards any person in particular, I apologize. I really, truly do sincerely apologize. It was not my intentions. Sometimes I can be quite ruthless. Yeah, sometimes I can. But even with that, people deserve an opportunity to change their mind, to change their perspective, to change their actions towards you. They may have been a complete butthole all these times before, and now they desire to be different, and we should afford them that grace. So I'm asking all of you to continue to be gentle with yourself first, with me and others, as we're all experiencing something. And if you consider yourself one of my gold friends, bring things to my attention, because sometimes I'm not even fully aware. And if somebody reminds you of the rules, thank them. That's something that I'm trying to practice. So if you remind me of something that I said and you bring it to my attention, and all I can do is be appreciative or resentful on the low. But I'm trying my best to be beyond that. And this video is much shorter than the other one. And I'm grateful that it is. Because some of the stuff I said in the other video, I'm just like, child, I'm glad you ain't saying it now. It was emotional. It was emotional. And I'm trying my best also as moving forward with this project to not get to a place where I'm so emotional, where I'm constantly like pandering and playing into my emotions. Because emotions are essential. They're energy. They're supposed to serve as like a way for us to connect and communicate. But it should not be the only thing that we're connecting over or communicating. We should not just be venting all the time, and that's the only thing that we do is, constantly just praising ourselves or constantly putting down another person or, constantly crying about something, because all of those are just displays of our feelings. And I could go further because there's a need to explaining about emotional regulation and things of that nature, but I'm not going to on this video. But I will say that I'm so young, y'all. I'm so young, and I'm immature. I might be more mature than the average 32-year-old that you've come in contact with. But I just don't want to be held on a pedestal. Not even out of fear of me letting anybody down. It's just I don't need that. And so that's another huge thing that I'm working on. It's one of the reasons why I took a step back from Piece of Cake, because I was already starting to feel like I don't want to be one of these content creators that's just out here just putting out content constantly, doing anything for attention or likes. It's hard. I'm eating my own words. J. Cole said it some years ago, and he was like, it's hard to be humble. And I remember being like, no, it's not. It's not that hard to be humble. No, it wasn't J. Cole. It was Kendrick Lamar. My bad. See? Yeah. Kendrick Lamar says it's hard to be humble. And I remember me saying, no, it's not. Because I was in a different spiritual place. And I remember me saying, like, it's not that hard to be humble if you stay in the remembrance of who God is and versus who you are. But we live in a society where narcissism is so pervasive. Like, it's literally being enabled, right? People, you get on Facebook and it's asking you what's on your mind. And nowadays we have all of this, rhetoric centered around our feelings and our emotions. So people want to know, how do you feel about this? Not even necessarily what you're going to do beyond your feelings. And so before you know it, it's easy to become arrogant and to operate in egomania and not be humble. So it's hard. It is hard to be humble. And so, like, undoubtedly I'm going to have moments where I might say something and you might catch me singing a slightly different tune. You have the right to call me in. I ask that you don't call me out. Calling people out, it doesn't resolve anything. Because guess what? They already know certain things about themselves. But I've tried to get to a place where I understand the why people are calling you out, as opposed to just the action itself. And if you can focus on the why, which is usually rooted in these people care about you, then you can work beyond their methods. You know, we can go beyond the methods and we can get to a really sweet spot. So, once again, I'm just trying to be accountable. I'm calling my own self in, recognizing that I started something and I'm not being consistent. I owe myself better. First and foremost, I owe better to God, because, it's not right for us to make commitments and then not keep them. He's endowed me with the abilities to do better. I have not fully tapped into it. There's a lot more skill building that has to occur on my end so that I can honor the commitments that I'm making. And I intend on doing that. And I'm calling myself in right now so that I can say to you all that I deserve to be better for God, for myself, for you all, for those of you who may actually benefit from the project that God placed in my heart. It's not fair for me to just allow myself to self-sabotage and not make a contribution just because of my feelings, because undoubtedly I'm withholding something from somebody else. And it's hard too, because like I said, I might not have went into detail with this in this video, but I'm learning that I have issues with codependency. So at the same time, I'm trying my best not to indulge in the whole notion of I'm saving somebody. No, I just want to share some information, have some conversations, and if anybody learns anything from it in the process, alhamdulillah. All praises to God. This has nothing to do with me getting any type of adulation or anything from it. I'm not doing it for that. I really just want to have these conversations and enable us to share and learn. And I thank you all for being patient in that process. And call me in, and let's address certain behaviors that people have without, dragging them. Because, like I said, most of the time they're already dragging themselves on the inside. And so when you call them out, you're not helping them to reach resolve. And that's what I'm really dealing with. I had an interaction with someone that I love dearly, and it was just that. It was them calling me out on my flaky behavior without them fully realizing why I was flaking. And I had to own it. I'm flaking on you because I'm flaking on myself. And I'm putting forth boundaries so that I'm not flaking on myself, so that I don't flake on you. And you might not understand these boundaries right now, because these boundaries look like I'm cutting you off or I'm restricting access. And I'm not fully restricting access. It's just that before I can open myself back up to others, I gotta do some containment. I gotta do some working on me. And that's where I'm at. And I honor that. And I appreciate anybody else who can honor that as well. And I love y'all. And I pray God's blessings and his peace and his guidance, most importantly, his guidance, his protection over us all. And I hope that in the near future, I will continue to put out content, and that it will be in some way, shape, or form impactful. And that I'm not just pandering or discussing subjects and topics that just get people in their feelings and then we just leaving it there. I don't want to do that. I want us to really share information and share skills that can really shape who we are and create something different for us all and enable us to be who we're meant to be. And that's the goal of Piece of Cake Conversations. And that's really my life mission as well, without me doing it in a way to try to please anybody but God. So once again, I thank you all for your time. This video is so much shorter than the last one. I feel like it's definitely got the message in some. And I just thank you all for listening. And I do. I appreciate all of the love and support. And I look forward to us sharing information and skills in the future, in the very near future. I don't know when the next video is going to be. I will try to get back on it. I still have some healing to do. So hopefully maybe by my birthday, which is October the 20th, I'll be putting out some more content. Or I might just have to go, go slow. I had this whole idea of like I'm going to have it like it was going to be this grand production. And I might just have to like slowly put out little small pieces of cake. Little small. Like I might have to start small and work my way up to what it is that I overall want to do. But I know that this is definitely where God is moving me towards. And I pray that you all pray for me in the process. But I'm on a journey of healing, and I pray that everybody can respect that. And I pray that as I share this journey of healing with you all are healing as well, and that we can really grow something beautiful from this exchange. So once again, peace and blessings. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. And that's it.